Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive. But you guys, week 1 of the GBA, the Global Battle Association, the New York Metapods taking on the San Francisco GiEnteis. If you guys missed the team builder, definitely check that out in the description below so you can see what team I'm bringing and what the sets are and all that good stuff. Of course, feel free to check out Geo's channel in the description below. Tremendous battler, just narrowly missed the playoffs last season as we were able to beat him out and ultimately win the championship. And of course, if you guys could show your love on that like button down below and subscribe if you're new, that would be marvelous. Before we get too far though, guys, we have 12 games this season for the regular season. What do you predict the New York Metapods to finish out in terms of our total record and stuff like that? And of course, I do encourage you once again to check the description for all the information, as I do have my draft breakdown, my team builder. You can watch the live draft that I hosted as well if that's something you're interested in. And there's just a bunch of cool stuff, merch links, fan document, everything is in the description. So please check that out and show me that you are hyped for week 1 of the GBA. Coming back, trying to go back-to-back championship victors. I'm the only coach to ever go to back-to-back championships in this league, and we've got a lot of expectations this season with this team. We're taking on Geo here, who's got an amazing team in his own right, and I definitely have a lot of threats and a tough opponent up ahead here, but I'm ready to rock and roll, so I'm gonna hop online, get connected with Geo, and make this happen. So I'll see you guys momentarily. All right, guys, we are connected here with Geo. I'm ready to rock. I got my team ready to rock and roll. You can kind of see what I'm predicting him to bring. He's got a couple things that he might not bring. I can see that Manaphy actually not coming, him bringing Ditto or something like that instead. He might really prepare for Victini and bring something like Miltank or Regirock, but there's a lot of different options here, and we're gonna kind of see what happens momentarily. I feel like we brought the right team this week. It's a little unorthodox what I brought, but I think it's the best team I could bring against him. I really felt like he had too many responses to things like Victini and stuff for me to really take advantage of their usefulness. So I may have not brought our all-star lineup as I normally would bring, you know, to a match like this, but I felt like I built the right team for this match. So we'll see how it goes, man. I'm not gonna like stress too much about it. It's still the first game of the season, but it would be absolutely wonderful to kick off the season with a win. Geo has one of the better ranked teams so far in terms of like the preseason rankings. After everyone saw his draft, they were kind of blown away, and I was too. He was able to really construct something pretty impressive by getting defensive threats like Cresselia and Zapdos, while also pairing him with offensive monsters like Manaphy and Entei, and those together make for a really tough team to break down. It really does. I do think that if I'm able to take advantage of Dragalge and being able to drop some Draco Meteors with that Specs adaptability, we are going to be able to pick up some kills with that, and I'm also hoping that Chansey is going to be able to wall a lot of his team if he doesn't prepare enough for it. Obviously, he's going to potentially have knockoff and things like that with his Absol, but I do think that Chansey can do some work, and hopefully the ultimate plan here is to set up a Dragon Dance with Altaria and hopefully sweep towards the end there. I did mention in my pregame, I just want to address this now, that, you know, Absol could be carrying Iron Tail, which is a 70% accurate move. I've realized now that it could also be carrying Play Rough to hit my Altaria super effective, so I fully expect Play Rough over Iron Tail just for the sake that it's more likely to hit. So those are just a couple things. I am aware that Play Rough is a potential move. It does not Oko, but you know, we'll have to be very careful, because if I go for a Dragon Dance and then you know, attack and he hits me with a Play Rough plus Sucker Punch, he'll actually knock us out. So we do have to be very cautious there, and hopefully weaken the threats that we need to weaken early in the match, so we can hopefully poke some holes with things like Altaria. And the hope is that, you know, Flygon, Galvantula, and Rotom can provide me with momentum to get Dragalge in. So let's see what his team is going to bring. He brings pretty much what I expected. Actually, it's kind of funny because aside from the Manaphy, he does bring the Ditto, so he pretty much brings the exact team I expected. I knew the Manaphy was iffy. I knew Ditto was actually really likely. So he's got Entei, Ditto, Zapdos, Absol, Nidoking. Yeah, so we pretty much predicted his team. It's actually funny, my notes have Ditto instead of Nidoking. So in terms of his lead here, he could really do a lot of things. He could lead with Ditto, potentially trying to steal my, you know, my Sticky Webs. I actually think my best play here is to lead with my Flygon, because that'll give me an opportunity to simply U-turn out on anything he wants to lead with, and I will outspeed his Absol on first turn. I don't want to lead with my Dragalge because I feel like his Ditto lead is just far too likely, and I think Flygon matches up really well against a lot of his team, including his Nidoking. So I really like the Flygon lead, so I'm going to stick with that because there's a solid chance he will lead with his Ditto, hoping to kind of scout out my set, and all he'll be able to do is U-turn out against me, and I'll get a slow U-turn, potentially get an opportunity to go into my my adaptability Dragalge and hopefully fire off some Draco Meteors or Sludge Waves or something like that. So I did predict his team, very nice. I don't have to worry about the Manaphy, which means that Chansey is going to not be as important, but he's got a lot of physical attackers, and I'm expecting superpower on both Absol and Nidoking, so two things to kind of keep in mind there. But I know we have a default switch in every time with Chansey against his Zapdos, so that's always nice. So we're gonna jump into this match here and see what happens. I fully expect him to lead either Ditto, maybe Nidoqueen, potentially even Zapdos, but I think he's gonna predict my Galvantula lead, obviously, because sticky webs are so crucial. I really like Flygon this match. I think he could put in some work. So let's lead off with the homie Jet, and he's probably going to lead with Remix if I had to guess. He's going to lead with DDG, which is not Remix. In fact, it's actually Cresselia, so that's fine with me. My play here is 1,000,000% to go for Toxic. I need to get rid of this, I need to put a timer on this thing immediately, and that's going to be my play. If he wants to switch out here, that's fine. I'm able to just simply go for a U-turn on the following turn, but I really, really need to poison this Cresselia before it starts to set up on me, because if it is a variant that can Calm Mind substitute, I'm in a lot of trouble, and I really just don't want to deal with that. So Toxic is most certainly my play here. If he switches into anything other than Nidoqueen or Nidoking, that is going to be very crucial for us to get that Toxic damage to kind of tick away at his team and really open up more doors for Jigalgi. So I don't want to risk him potentially setting up a substitute or anything like that. So I really feel like my play here is simply to go for that Toxic, which is what I did. So very solid chance he's going to switch here, but his only switch really is that Nidoking, and it's a little risky to switch that in because I could simply go for an Earthquake and potentially knock it out. So unless he's Scarf King, which is... Scarf King loses a lot of power. It definitely loses a lot of power that it would otherwise have, and I think he's going to really need that ability to switch up his moves. He's going to stay in. I'm going to hit the Toxic. Absolutely wonderful. That's huge for us to be able to poison this Cresselia early game. He might go for a Moonblast here and do a lot of damage to us, which is exactly what's going to happen. I feel like we should be able to take it simply because Cresselia is not the strongest of Pokemon, and we do. Any of that Toxic is going to start to rack up on the Cresselia, so that's really, really good. That was huge for us that we got that Toxic off. So he does go for the Moonblast. That's totally fine. I'm going to simply just go for a U-turn here. I really lose nothing by going for U-turn to gain some momentum. He might just stay and go for Moonblast again, but this is going to give me an opportunity to U-turn out, go into my Chansey, and then potentially set up Stealth Rocks early. That could open the door for him to go for a knockoff, which could be problematic for my team, but at the very least, I'm going to be able to start to weaken a couple of threats here. And we see the damage there. That does indicate that he is likely to be physically defensive, but again, this damage here is going to slowly start to wear him down. So I have a couple options here, but because of the potential of him going for you know, some sort of move that can mess up here, I'm actually just going to simply go into my Chansey now. I think the Moonblast is coming. It is. That's fine. So his switch into Absol is very, very likely here, and I have a very tough decision to make. I just want to make a note that he does have leftovers on his Cresselia. I have a tough decision to make here because if I go for the Stealth Rocks, that's going to really help us chip down his team. He's got an Entei and a Zapdos, and I really feel like Stealth Rocks are the play here. He's probably going to go into his Absol, and there's really not a whole lot I can do about that, but I have an opening here to set up my Stealth Rocks, and that's the opening I'm going to take now, because that 25% to his Entei and his Zapdos are both going to be incredibly crucial, and on the turn that he's going to defog on Zapdos, that's a free switch into Jigalgi, which allows me to click Draco Meteor and actually knock something out. So ultimately, that's our strategy. So I don't mind if he inevitably goes into Zapdos to defog. That's totally fine with me, as long as I get this opportunity to, the more free switch-ins I get for Jigalgi, the better off I'm going to be in this matchup. And now that I've gotten his Cresselia down to about 60%, that's really, really helpful for us, because that thing is just such a huge threat to us. Now, luckily here, I don't have to worry about any sort of status, because I do have Natural Cure, so I'll be able to switch out. I really think his Absol switch here is just incredibly obvious, but he might be fearing a potential T-Wave prediction. Geo is a very, very good player, and he knows how to predict, but we'll see what he's going to do here. Absol would be his safe play. He's going to go into Remix, so he's actually just going to go straight into his Ditto. That's totally fine with me. I'm actually not too concerned about that because I know what Chansey's moveset is, and I know that there's not a whole lot he can do back to me aside from set up his own Stealth Rocks, which it could be kind of problematic, but simultaneously doesn't really bother me too much. He doesn't have the Eviolite as well, which does make him a little bit weaker than otherwise. So assuming he's going to set up his own Stealth Rocks here, I could do a couple of different things. Let me take a look at my moveset really quickly. I know my moveset is Seismitoss, Soft Boiled, Stealth Rocks, and you know, whatever. So what I'm thinking I should do here is I can actually go into Nimbus at this point and set up a free Dragon Dance. And even with the Toxic wearing us down, after that Dragon Dance, I'm going to be able to do a tremendous amount of damage to a lot of his team. And it's a little early game to be trying to go for that setup sweep, but if I can open up some holes here, that could be really effective. And I'm not really worried about his Toxic because it's not going to do too much to us since he doesn't have an Eviolite, since he's a Ditto. So after, after +1, we actually have a potential to knock out a Ditto because of how low its HP stat is. So I am actually just going to go into my Altare here and hopefully set up a Dragon Dance. Again, very risky because it is so early game, but I just know that we can do a lot of damage to a lot of his team. and I feel confident in our ability to put in some work here. And since his Ditto is in front of us, I don't really have to worry too much about it, you know, setting up on us. So this is a very interesting situation because if I go for the Dragon Dance, that does allow his Ditto to steal our stat boosts. So let's think about this for a second. We are going to Mega Evolve. We are going to attack here. If he were to steal our Mega Altaria and become Mega Altaria, can I beat that thing? That is the question here. Can I beat that thing? At +1, if he steals my +1, it's gonna be a little challenging. I do think Rotom will be able to take a hit, but it is a little bit risky. So perhaps my best play here is actually rather than setting up a Dragon Dance, rather just simply clicking return, but then I won't be able to outspeed his threats. So I think what I'm going to do here is go for that Dragon Dance. I am worried about that Ditto coming back in, but I think if I set up a Dragon Dance and then Ditto comes back in, he's gonna switch. I get an automatic kill basically on anything, which is really nice. And then Ditto comes back in, and then I have to beat a +1 Ditto, essentially, as Altaria, which, you know what, Chansey should be able to take hits from. Chansey should be able to take hits from if I have the Eviolite. And I know I can do a decent amount back to him because his HP stat is gonna be pretty low. So that's an option. I have some options here. I am gonna go for the Mega Evolution and the Dragon Dance. A little early, but I feel like I have an opportunity to kill something right now. He goes straight into his Cresselia here. And this is gonna give me an opportunity to simply go for the Dragon Dance and then knock something out. Something is going to die here, and it could very well be his Ditto. Or it could very well be this Cresselia, which is a huge threat to my team. So I'm gonna just go for this. Now I know Ditto can come in, and I know Ditto can simply steal my stat boost here, and that could result in some problems for my team, but I feel like this isn't the worst situation to be in, because at +1, my return actually could potentially knock him out. Perhaps I should have just went for return in general instead of going for the boost, but I'm gonna go for that return here and try to knock him out. That is going to be my play. This may or may not knock him out. I may take a Moonblast here, which is going to do about 40%. We're just going to straight up knock him out. So Mega Altaria picks up a kill. Altaria kills Cresselia with return. So that's really cool. So the Cresselia is gone. That's a huge, huge threat out of the way. He's going to probably go immediately into Ditto, which is exactly what he does. He does immediately go into Ditto. He's going to take our boost here, and he is going to basically copy our stat boost. Now, I don't know whether it's Ditto's Choice Scarf. Most Dittos are Choice Scarf. Most of them are. And he does have our boost here. So I definitely am in a little bit of a tough situation because he's got a Ditto that copied my Mega Altaria and is +1. So let me think about this here really quickly. He's going to do a lot of damage to us. I'm just debating on whether I want to risk a Speed Tie here if he's not Scarfed. I don't really have a switch in all honesty, and as much as I like Altaria, I think I can make do without it at this point. Can Dragalge live a hit here if I need Dragalge at this point? Dragalge cannot live a hit from a +1 Altaria, so this is very problematic for my team right now. I think I need to risk this Speed Tie, guys, or I go into Flygon and sack off Flygon, but you know what? I think that's my actual play here. Is go into Flygon, sack off Flygon, then go into Sunnyside and try to stall this thing out, or at least try to weaken it. This thing is going to reverse sweep my behind right now. Choice Scarf is likely. He's going to click return. It's going to really hurt my team. Do I think it's worth saving Nimbus? I do, because it's so viable against the Absol and stuff. I'm going to make the switch into... Do I make the switch into this guy here? Flygon. Flygon's pretty weak. He's going to destroy me right now. I'm going to go into Flygon. I think I need to go into Flygon and sack it off here. I knew that this Altaria would be a problem. I knew it would. I knew the Ditto would be a problem. It always is against my team. He always kind of messes me up with that, but he's going to clearly go for return here. Now, the thing is, he might actually not have max happiness now that I think about that. He may not have genned this thing with max happiness, so we do have that as a possibility, but Ditto kills Flygon with return. So now I get to go in my Chansey, and he knows what my Chansey set is. Do I go into Chansey or do I go into something else here? He's Mega Altaria +1. I don't want to risk that. I can go into Rotom Wash, potentially. Rotom Wash is very crucial for Entei. I do think Chansey is my best play here. think Chansey is my best play here. And getting a Toxic off is going to be huge. I need to put a timer on this thing immediately. I know he's got Roost, but if I could Toxic him and kind of weaken him, that's definitely going to help. Because I know I'm not going to really do much to him otherwise. So I'm going to go for the Toxic here, and we'll see. I am hopeful that he doesn't have max happiness on his Ditto. Because typically you wouldn't gen something like that. But maybe he would default gen it. I don't know. We're going to find out here in a second when he attacks my Chansey. So, this is a bad situation for me, guys. I made the mistake. I knew that his Altaria would reverse sweep. I probably was better off not Dragon Dancing and just clicking return. He is not max happiness. That is huge. That is huge, huge, huge. I missed my Toxic, but that is totally fine. I can simply soft boiled off the damage now. And now that I know that, that is huge for us because I can totally live hits now. Now that I know that. So I can either soft boiled here and get my health back, or I can go for the Toxic, or I can predict his switch into Nidoking. And my response to Nidoking is most likely going to be my Rotom. So I think my best play here is just to get the damage off on the King, because Toxic isn't going to do anything. So let's go for Seismitoss. It's a safe play. And now that I know I wall this thing because it doesn't have max happiness, that's actually really big for us. That's really, really big for us. Which means I could have actually stayed in with my Altaria against this thing and lived a return. It would have been close, but I would have lived it and gone for return again, and we would have actually been in the great spot. But that's okay. I know that for next time now. I do know that for next time. So we have that opportunity later if I set up a Dragon Dance later. And we are Mega Evolved, so I can switch in on some knockoffs now from Absol, so that's really helpful too. We are faster. Well, we're speed tie. Okay, so that ends up working out very well for us. That could have been really bad, but it ends up being not as bad as it would have been. So that's okay. That's okay. And Sunnyside's at a good amount of health still. I feel that it's okay to go for... He's going to definitely switch here, most likely into King, predicting the Toxic. Stinks that we missed. Here comes Prince, which is the Nidoking. And I'm going to just go for Toxic here, or for Seismitoss here to get some damage off on him. My play here needs to be Rotom Wash. I have to assume that he's going to have superpower on this thing. So I need to go to Rotom Wash here, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can then Volt Switch out, predicting him to, you know, go for... I mean, he's not going to stay in because Hydro Pump will knock him out. So I need to save Sunnyside, though. I think this thing is way too valuable at this point, and I don't want to trust myself to take a superpower at this point in the match. So... let's see here. We have weakened him quite a bit. Flygon, unfortunately, is out, but it helped getting rid of the Cresselia, so it's really good. He's at about, you know, 65% right now. We know what the Ditto has. We haven't really seen any other moves yet. All right. So let's kind of pull up Rotom real quick and look at Nidoking. If he does go for superpower here, it's not going to do much. If he goes for like a Sludge Wave on us, that's going to do a lot. If he goes for Sludge Wave, that's going to do a lot to Rotom. But if he doesn't, if he predicts my switch right now and predicts Rotom, then I'm in a bit of a bind here. The thing is Chansey, I made my play already, so it doesn't really matter, but Chansey is just not going to be wanting to take a superpower right now. So he's going to switch. He's going to pull a double here into who? Into Zap Zap. That's totally fine with me. That's going to give me an opportunity to go right into my Rotom here, which gives me free, and he has pressure, so we know he could potentially be carrying Defog. Very interesting that he didn't go for the superpower there, so he might have been predicting a switch. This is a great opportunity for me to go into my Dragalge. A great opportunity for me to go into my Dragalge, because Dragalge is walled by Chansey, so I don't have to stress about that. He is leftover Zapdos. That's good to know. And I could get a Toxic off on this thing, which would be really nice. It would be really nice, but I personally think going into my Dragalge right now is way more important. So I'm going to go for the Volt Switch, predicting him to potentially Defog. He's not going to do much to me, so he might go for Volt Switch too, but his will be faster than mine. I have no speed investment, so I'm going to get the priority here on the switch, and this is exactly what I want. I want to be able to go into my Dragalge against this Zapdos so I can click Draco Meteor and kill something pretty much every time. So this is working out relatively decent here. We just need... he may or may not go for Defog. Defog would definitely be a good play on his part because it hurts me more than it hurts him. Like, the rocks are hurting him more than they're going to hurt me because nothing on my team aside from Galvantula is weak to rocks at this point, whereas he has Entei and Zapdos that are both weak to rocks. So he is going to go for that Defog. No surprise there. This is my perfect opportunity to go right into my Dragalge, which is exactly what I wanted this entire time, because now Dragalge has an opportunity to click Draco Meteor and kill something. Like, pretty much automatically kill something. Let me actually see that damage really quick from Rotom Wash against Zapdos, just to kind of see how much that did. It did like 10%. So he looks like he might actually be pretty specially bulky, but I still feel comfortable in the fact that even a specially defensive Zapdos does not want to take a Draco Meteor from my Dragalge. So I feel really confident in this opportunity here to click Draco Meteor and ultimately kill something. I do 83 to 98% to a pretty, like a really bulky Zapdos. So we should be able to pick up a kill here with this Draco Meteor. And that is 1,000,000% my play here. Zapdos really can't touch Dragalge, unless I'm missing something. I don't really foresee him being able to do a whole lot to us. So this should be a good opportunity for us to drop a Draco here. Oh, I guess he doesn't even have Stealth Rocks up. For some reason, I thought he had Stealth Rocks up with that Chansey earlier, but I wasn't paying attention. That's all right, because his Ditto is locked into return. His Choice Scarf. We assume now. All right, well, this is what I wanted. This is the exact scenario I wanted. I kill something right now. Something dies. The only way something lives here is if he has like a super duper, like bulky variant of something. But realistically, my homie Dragalge should be able to knock something out here. And every time this Zapdos comes in, Dragalge gets to get a kill, basically. And that's my game plan. A little bit weary about that Absol. That Absol could be problematic for us. In terms of it going for knockoff, things like that. He's gonna just simply go for the Roost here, so he might be trying to stall us out of these Dracos, but depending on his spread, this actually may just straight up knock him out. So we're gonna find out here in a second. We're gonna drop that Draco. Hopefully this will be enough to knock him out. If not, I'm gonna have to go into Chansey. My plan will be kind of foiled, but we'll see how bulky he is on the special side. That is going to barely miss the KO there. Very, very close, unfortunately. He does have Roost, and this is gonna be kind of tough for me because now I need to switch out because I think at -2 I'm not gonna be able to knock him out. He is a specially defensive variant, so my play is to go into Chansey here. This is gonna give me an opportunity to either go for a Toxic or a Soft Boiled, whichever I prefer. Doesn't really matter, but I know now that he's gonna just keep clicking Roost. That's fine. So he's got Roost, Defog, potentially Toxic Volt Switch. Again, Chansey cares not about those things. And this is a great opportunity for me to go to Soft Boiled here, but I really feel like the Toxic is the better play, in all honesty. This is kind of a tough decision here. The Toxic on this Zapdos would be very, very useful. It would be very, very useful. Stealth Rocks are also really nice. So I think I'm actually going to try to get those rocks back up here. And if he switches, that's fine. He's going to just go for the Volt Switch, so now I see a little bit more of his moveset. And I'm going to get my rocks back up. This is going to give him an opportunity to potentially go into his Absol for free. It's going to give him to go into anything for free, really. Which is fine. I'm ready to rock and roll here. I think the next time... Last time I switched out Chansey, what is he going to do here? I want to get these rocks back up. That'll really help us against the Zapdos. I got to get... That was crazy that Zapdos lived. Crazy that thing lived. I couldn't Sledge Wave, it was too risky. Dragon Pulse might be the better play next time against the Zapdos, because Dragon Pulse is going to do over 50%. So here comes Decisions, new Pokemon. That's going to be his Entei. Now, I believe that I can live a hit from this thing. Let me double check here. But Choice Banded Entei, I believe I can live. If he goes for Flare Blitz, I don't. So my play here is Rotom Wash, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000% Rotom Wash. That is my dedicated switch into this thing. Yeah, it's my dedicated switch into this thing. It gives me a free opportunity to Volt Switch out on him. I could go for a Toxic, predicting the Zapdos, and that'll really help out Dragalge as well, which might be my better play, because he's really not going to go into Nidoking. But I have to save Sunnyside here. It's just too valuable. It gets a free Soft Boiled off on a couple things, so on the Zapdos and stuff like that. And I think it's worth saving him a little bit longer here. I definitely don't want to let him down, because while I'll find out if he's banned or not right now, really, is what I want to do. I want to find out if this Entei is going to be choice banned or not. Once I figure that out, that'll really help us out. So if he's banned, he'll do about max, 33% to us on the Rotom, where Hydro Pump actually potentially could kill him back. But we'll see. We'll see what he's going to do here. And I do have the Resto and the Chesto, so I could do that. But I think my play here into Rotom is relatively obvious, but it's the right play. So he's going to simply go for Stone Edge here. It's going to do up to 45% if he's banded. And that does a good amount, actually. That does a really good amount. So 71 out of 157 puts me at 45%. So Choice Banded Entei with Stone Edge does a max 45.2%. So I'm going to go for the rest here. I believe I should be able to live this Stone Edge. He is going to hit it. We should be able to live it. We should be able to live it. And we do live on 9, so that's perfect. Great opportunity for me to, now that I know he's banded too, that's actually really useful information. So we're gonna get our rest off here, and now I have an opportunity to simply go for a Hydro Pump if I wish, or I could Volt Switch out and go into something else that would be faster. In this case, Galvantula is faster, and I could go for a pretty hard hit. I don't, how much would a Thunder do at this point? Galvantula versus Entei. It would be really nice to get those webs up too. Thunder would potentially knock him out if I go for, I mean, Hydro Pump's a really good play here. He really doesn't have a good switch in for it, so let's go for the Hydro Pump. He really doesn't have a reliable switch in for this. I mean, he could go to Zapdos, but again, that doesn't really do much to me. And it does take 25% to Rocks. I get a free Volt Switch into Dragalge again. I could Toxic it as well, which would be very useful. So he can't go into King here. This Hydro Pump could do a tremendous amount and kill this thing on entry, so I really like this opportunity. And now the nice thing is we know he's banded, so he is banded Entei. So we have to keep that in mind. We saw Stone Edge. I'm sure he's got Sacred Fire and things like that. But him being banded means he can't switch in extreme switch to extreme speed easily, so that helps. He's probably debating his move here. He's gonna switch most likely into that Zapdos or potentially that Rotom, or I'm sorry, the Ditto. Here comes that Zapdos, so that's fine. He might try to defog again here. This is my opportunity to, this is kind of tough because I could try to go back into the Dragalge and try to get some offensive pressure there. We're gonna actually put enough pressure on him to the point where another Hydro Pump will knock him out if he doesn't Roost. I think this is my chance to go for Toxic on this thing. I really do. So that is what I'm gonna do. I really realize that this thing is gonna be able to roost stall a lot of my my PP and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just go for the Toxic here, and that'll weaken him to the point where Dragalge can actually likely pick up a kill now. So his Toxic's gonna come off here. Very nice. And that is going to finally hit. We missed one earlier, so that was kind of a bummer. But now I get to just Volt Switch and go straight into Dragalge again. And if he wants to, you know, go into something else, like he wants to go into his Ditto or something, it doesn't really bother me because I'm going to get the momentum here. He can't go into Nidoking, and I'm going to be at full health at the end of this. So if he defogs again, that's fine. I'm going to go for the Volt Switch here. I try to get some momentum back. And this should be put him in kill range from the Draco Meteor this time. And once this bird is gone, then my Stealth Rocks are here to stay. So that could be very advantageous for us as well. In fact, I may not Draco Meteor. I may just go for the Dragon Pulse because he doesn't really have a switch in for it, and it allows me to continuously hit things hard. Choice Banded Entei does likely knock us out with Stone Edge, though. He is going to just go for the defog. Actually, no, he doesn't knock us out. Yeah, Dragon Pulse is a really good play. Dragon Pulse is a great play here. Dragon Pulse is likely the play because that way he can't Roost stall us. I don't want him to do that. So let's go into Adept here. He did go for the defog again, so the question is, do I Dragon Pulse or do I go for something else here? I think the Dragon Pulse is the proper play because it's going to wreck anything on his team. It's going to wreck something. And at the health he's at now because of the Toxic, he can't restall me anymore. I don't want him to take advantage of the shenanigans. So, and I have to go for Dragon Pulse here as much as Sledge Wave I think would do a little bit more. I have to go for Dragon Pulse because of the Nidoking. I don't believe Nidoking is going to really yeah, Dragon Pulse will definitely knock out the Nidoking, so I'm gonna go for that Dragon Pulse this time, and if he wants to Roost stall, that's fine. Something is gonna take a huge hit from my Dragalge right now. Very nice. I'm in a very nice spot right now, and Ditto transforming into Dragalge is essentially useless because I have Chansey. Maybe I can get those rocks up one more time. Still don't know what kind of Nidoking set he is, but he is weakened. So we're in a decent spot here. And Altaria can do some work against this team. I'm a little worried about potential Entei Sacred Fire burns, but it's okay. It's all good. We still have Rotom at full health, which does not want to take multiple Stone Edges by any means. It does not. It does not want to take multiple Stone Edges. He might Sacred Fire on the next go of it if he brings back Entei. But this Dragon Pulse is going to put some work in here. If he goes into Ditto, it dies. If he stays in with Zapdos, it's going to die. Nidoking dies, Absol dies, and Entei almost dies. So this is good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff right now. He's going to switch, go into something that dies, please. He goes into Prince, so he's going to go into Nido King. That is actually very, very useful for me, unless he's Assault Vest. This will knock him out. If he is Assault Vest, he'll live, but then I'll get the intel that he's not nearly as bulky as I thought. So that's huge for us. That is huge, getting rid of that Nido King. So Dragalge kills Nido King with Dragon Pulse, and that was huge, getting rid of that thing. He saved his Zapdos, which I found pretty surprising. I found the Zapdos save surprising because Dragalge just switches in on it every time and gets a free attack. So that's fine with me. Getting rid of that Nido King was huge. Huge. So we got rid of that. Now we have to deal with the Entei and the Absol as his offensive threats, and then we have to be very cautious of that Ditto transforming into something like Altaria again. But now that we know he's not max happiness, we know that we can beat him one-on-one with our own Altaria. So, in fact, what I'll probably do is I just don't need to Dragon Dance next time. I'll just click Earthquake or whatever, because we really lose nothing by doing that. Yeah, we lose nothing by doing that. It's just, at this point, it's a matter of chipping down a couple of his other threats. Galvantula, I think, is the least useful member of my team at this point. The nice thing about Galvantula is it does have the ability to fire off some big thunders, potentially paralyze something like that Entei, and we will outspeed it. We're going to outspeed the Absol as well, and now we can freely Volt Switch with both Rotom and Galvantula. So a couple perks there. If I can get these sticky webs on the field, I think we're going to be in insanely good position, because that's going to slow down the Entei and the Absol to the point where Altaria actually will outspeed, and at that point we don't even need to set up a Dragon Dance. So getting up those sticky webs could be pretty crucial as we kind of near midway of this match here, which has been a pretty intense match so far. He's going to go into his Ditto to transform into our Dragalge and get some intel on that. Now, he's not obviously going to have our specs. This is going to give me a free switch if I decide into my, whatchamacallit. I have a tough decision to make here. Can he knock me out with this thing? If he is not specs, does it? A Draco Meteor does knock me out, so it's a little too risky for me to stay in here. It is a little too risky for me to stay in here. I have a neutral switch. Hold on, let's see Dragalge here. He's not gonna have my specs. He's gonna be scarfed. So against Chansey, he really doesn't do anything, even with Draco Meteor. I don't know if my Chansey switching is way too obvious here, but I think it's the right play. He may just pivot out, which if he does, that's fine. I can't risk taking a Draco Meteor here and losing Dragalge at this point in the match. It's too valuable. Being able to take a hit from Entei and be able to switch in on Zapdos every time and kill something is just too valuable to lose right now. So I'm going to make the switch into Chansey, which is probably one of my least valuable members at this point, and see if I can live another hit. And if he switches here and makes the prediction, then he makes the prediction. It's going to be what it's going to be. But I feel confident in Chansey being able to take on this mirror Dragalge here. I wish I could take a Draco. It's too risky. It's too risky for me to try to take a Draco from him, with him potentially being Scarf, which is why that sticky web is huge. So I'm gonna switch, which means that he stays in, and I should be able to go into Chansey here and get a free soft boiled off, or he's gonna Draco. So it's a good thing that I stayed in, or that I switched. I can go for soft boiled here, or I can go for my rocks again. And again, getting these rocks up have been very, very useful for me at this point in the match. Soft boiled guarantees I can live more hits, but Stealth Rocks does 25% to Zapdos and 25% to Entei. I'm gonna go for that Stealth Rock. And I know he's gonna switch. He's locked into Draco. So it's a good thing I switched there. Had I stayed in Dragon Pulse, we would have knocked him out because he missed, but it just wasn't worth it. Here's his opportunity to go straight into Absol, which I'm surprised he hasn't even tried yet. I could have went for a Toxic here, predicting a switch into Entei or Absol and start to wear that thing down, but I think the Stealth Rocks are just very useful right now still. That 25% to Entei guarantees a couple Okos, so it guarantees the Dragon Pulse Oko from Dragalge, so that's really huge. So here comes Absolutely, which is his shiny Absol here. And I'm gonna get my rocks up. So here's the thing, I know I can 100% live a knockoff with Chansey at this point. I know I can, and I can go for a soft boiled. My play here really is into my, it's really into my Rotom, because I can take anything and just Volt Switch out and do some serious damage to him. I could take any hit. I don't have an item anymore, so Rotom is actually pretty useful against this thing. Unless he sets up a Swords Dance, at which point I'm in a lot of trouble. But now that I don't have an item, his knockoff only does 27 to 33%, so he's really not going to be able to do too much to us, and I get a free Volt Switch. So I'm going to save Chansey here once again, because I know I can take one hit from pretty much anything at this point still. He could have Superpower as well. That could totally be the play he goes for, just going for the kill. And Superpower would knock me out. But it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do here. So my play is to Rotom, so I can come in and then just simply Volt Switch out now. And put more pressure on with Dragalge again. That is my goal. He's going to stay in, most likely, Mega Evolve. And either go for knockoff or superpower. It's going to be one of the two. Absolutely. Let's see what this Absol is going to do here. He's going to Mega Evolve. I love, love, love Shiny Absol's form. He's probably going to knock off or superpower. He's going to Swords Dance, so he does indeed go for that Swords Dance. Very scary. This is an opportunity, though, for me to simply Volt Switch out here. I have to Volt Switch out. So I am going to go for that Volt Switch. Now that I know he's SD Absol, I got to go for Volt Switch here. And if he attacks us, he's going to do a lot to us, but I think this is my proper play. And then I can go into Altaria. I think I got to go into Altaria or Dragalge, I guess. Dragalge's probably not going to want to take a hit. This might be it for us. We might have just lost. At +2, Absol puts in the work. Can Mega Altaria live a hit from Absol? It's going to stink if we lose to an Absol right now. But at +2, we're in a lot of trouble. Yes, +2 Play Rough knocks us out. So depending on his set here, we might just straight up lose to this thing. I don't have priority, so we're just going to have to hope. Maybe Chansey could live a hit. Maybe Volt Switch plus Seismic Toss is enough. I would hate to lose my, like, everything right now to this thing. I would hate to. He's going to go for Sucker Punch, so he's going to hit the Sucker Punch. Obviously, it's going to do a really high amount of damage. We are going to get the Volt Switch off, though. So Sucker Punch was his strongest move. You can see we don't really do too much to him. Chansey could potentially live a hit. Let's see if Chansey could live a hit from Absol. He's probably going to have Superpower. I kind of want to see what he's going to do here. I should be able to live a hit. No, if he's +2, there's no way. There's just no way. He just destroys my entire team right now. All right, I have to hope he doesn't have Play Rough is what I have to do, or he misses, I think. I don't know what else I could do. I'm going to go into Nimbus here and hope that he doesn't have Play Rough or he misses. I don't think I could do anything. I think this Absol just wins at this point. I think I made a pretty crucial misplay. There wasn't really much I could do, but I'll go for Return here and see what he's going to do. If he has the Play Rough and he connects, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, though. I just have to hope he doesn't have Play Rough, which he's probably going to, because he knows that he was going to have to take on Altaria. So it's going to stink to lose to this Absol. It's a very, very good Pokemon. Very, very good Pokemon. But I just don't have any answers for it at this point now that it was SD. I didn't think he was going to be SD variant. I thought he was going to have multiple coverage moves, because Absol gets a lot of great coverage. I thought he was going to have a Fire type move. I thought he was going to be Knockoff and Sucker Punch, Fire move, and Play Rough. But now that I saw SD, maybe he won't have Play Rough. Maybe he'll have Fire coverage for Ferrothorn, and he'll be lacking on the Play Rough. I don't know. The fact that he's taken this long to pick his move, he does have the Play Rough. He is going to connect, and this will most certainly knock us out. It does. So I think that's game, guys. I think we're about to get swept by this Absol. So Absol kills Altaria with Play Rough. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could really do here is there anything I can do here? Or does Absol just beat my entire team? I think it does, man. I think it does. That's a really unfortunate. That's a really kind of a terrible way to lose, really, because there's just not much I could do to this thing. At +2, he just, yeah, everything beats me. I can live a Play Rough. I may be able to live a Sucker Punch if he's Jolly with Dragalge. So I gotta go to Dragalge here and hope that I could live a hit. If he has Knockoff, though, I can't. So I just have to hope that I could live a hit here. I'm gonna go for the Dragon Pulse and just hope I can live a hit. I don't think we can, though. I am fully HP invested, but I don't think we're gonna be able to live this one. I'll give it a go. I will give it a go. That's really unfortunate. I really hope somehow Dragalge can live this hit. It would be a miracle. Because if I get rid of Absol, we have a chance still. Maybe. It's going to be tough. Galvantula's going to have to beat the Entei. Galvantula can beat Entei. He's going to go for Knockoff. That is definitely going to knock us out. There's no way I'm living that. Yeah, it was 115%. So Absol kills Dragalge with Knockoff. This is soul crushing, man. This is really unfortunate. Definitely an unfortunate way to take a loss here, guys. Aragog is most certainly not living a hit. I don't believe... It just stinks, man, to lose to an Absol. Like, you just click... He clicked one move, Swords Dance, and then he wins because of that. I mean, I guess it's... Actually, maybe Galvantula can live a hit, guys. Galvantula looks like it has a chance to live a knockoff at this point, but I'm Life Orb, so I don't know if it's going to make a difference. So I'm going to go for, I believe, a Bug Buzz will knock him out. I'm going to go for Bug Buzz. If I live this, it's going to be unfortunate that I lost Dragalge for no reason. But I'll go for the Bug Buzz here in hopes that I can knock him out. If he's Adamant, maybe we can outspeed. 160. If he's Adamant, I'll outspeed, but I die, he's going to be Adamant. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing I could do. I should have went into Galvantula to start. But Galvantula, how is Galvantula going to live this hit? Oh, it's because it didn't go +2. Yeah, we lost, dude. I'm like calcing without the other stuff. We just lose. This thing just kills us. He's going to beat us, what is it going to be, 4-0? That's so annoying, man. You know what's really annoying, too? I got to throw this out there, like... No, I'm not even going to say it, dude. It's not even worth talking about. It's whatever. So, sorry, guys. Like, it's frustrating because I just know that this Absol just beats us. I predicted a different set, and I knew the Swords Dance was a possibility when it was Chansey versus Absol, but there really wasn't a whole lot I could do about that. And without a Scarfer, I can't really switch anything in. So he might think I'm Scarf, but, like, it doesn't matter at this point. I don't even know what he's thinking about, dude. You just attack me and you win. So, yeah, my only chance is that he's going to miss a play rough. So he goes for the Sucker Punch here. That's most certainly going to knock us out. I don't have Sash or anything. So, Absol, that's annoying. Absol kills Galvantula with Sucker Punch. It stinks too because I feel like this whole match, I had a lot of momentum in this match. And to have it like ripped out like that quickly is really unfortunate. And I don't feel like Absol should have been a tier 2 Pokemon, as you can clearly see. Like 115 base speed is pretty nuts, and you know, a Magic Bounce ability is pretty insane. So Chansey goes down and Rotom's gonna go down. So we get swept by a Swords Dance Absol, man. Like, it's definitely kind of unfortunate that it happened, but what are you gonna do? In terms of misplays on my part, I mean, I think one of the things I could have done was potentially, you know, maybe try to take advantage of Altaria against the Ditto earlier on. Maybe try to set up Sticky Webs early when I had an opportunity to. Maybe prioritize that. But he's gonna go for knockoff here. That's most certainly gonna knock us out. And that's gonna be the game. So Absol kills everything. Absol kills Chansey with knockoff. And Absol kills Rotom with knockoff. And that's going to be the game. So good game to Geo, man. He was able to pull out the win with the Swords Dance Absol. Kind of a rough start to the season, guys, but I don't think we played poorly, honestly. I felt like I played really well, especially early game. I can't do anything about that, man. I don't really know what I could have done to prep for Swords Dance Absol more. I really thought he was going to bring a different set and a different strategy for that. So what are you going to do, man? We take our loss. Not a big deal, man. I'm not worried about it. Good game to Geo, man. I hope you guys did enjoy. Show your love on that like button down below, and I'm going to catch you guys next time. Next week, we play the San Diego Chimp Chargers, which is, of course, Coach Envy. My name is Dan Oscar by aDrive. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.